At last, finally have some fresh Nespresso pods, not that 2-year-old shit. So today is a good day. Here's what I stocked up on. So sleeve of the sweet vanilla. Got a espresso raffio. Golden caramel. Couple sleeves of the decaf mug size, Malozio decaf. Then a espresso Voltesso, and last but not least, double espresso Chiaro decaf. So 3 decaf sleeves and the rest is caffeinated. There's one more in here, but it's just another one of the Malozio decaf. So yeah, 2 Malozio decaf, 1 double espresso decaf, and then a regular espresso, another regular espresso, golden caramel, and sweet vanilla. Here we have it, an easy 125 grams of carbs, 60 grams of protein, and minimal fat, trace fats. Hey Frankie, I'm about to eat, you're gonna have to hop down. Okay, so I'm trying something a little bit different. I'm trying to make a distinct disconnect between work and eating, basically. So from now on, I'm going to have my meals at the actual dining table as much as I can and try to restrict my office to purely just work-related matters. That way I just don't have that association with anything else. Similar to how like you don't want to, say, for example, watch TV in your bedroom, because your bedroom is for 2 things, sleeping and you know what else. So you don't want to be making these subconscious associations with certain environments in your house with the improper activities, basically. And so what I'm trying to do to kind of improve my workflow efficiency, stuff like that, is I'm just going to try to eat the majority of my meals at the table instead of in my office. Now, I will still do a little bit of work outside of my office. Like, for example, I've got my laptop here. I'll respond to some emails, stuff like that, do basic admin work, but anything that requires a higher level of thinking, say video consultations that people book through my website, or weekly check-in responses to my athletes and clients, or say, for example, recording short form or long form content, I'll try to restrict that exclusively to the office. And then any kind of like low level work where I don't need to have like, I guess, high executive function thought processes going, I'll just basically do it here if I can. The kind of, I guess you could say, brain rot work, responding to emails, doing basic admin stuff, that sort of thing, or even just creative stuff too, like some content creation that doesn't require recording, like say carousels, things like that, writing articles, sending out weekly newsletters, that sort of thing. Shameless plug too, if you aren't part of the mailing list, you can join the mailing list. There's a link to my website in the description of this video, and there's a page on my website dedicated to the weekly newsletter. So that's completely free to opt in. You just have to surrender your email and your first name, and then yeah. But I'm gonna have to go eat now, so you're gonna have to hop on the floor, Frankie. There we go. Tell you what though, I'm feeling very tired today. Running on 4 hours of sleep, up since 3:30, 1 meal deep, 20,000 steps deep. Not saying that to whinge or complain or make excuses, just stating the facts, but still gonna get it done. I just checked my training log from last week, and it turns out that was the wrong grip width. I was off by a finger. I thought I did pinkies on the rings, but I actually did ring fingers on the rings, so I'll try that this time, see how that goes. That felt better. Felt much better. I believe last week it was 10 reps, but the week before I got 11 when I was doing chest first in the session. So that's the session that I'm going to compare it against and try beat. So that means I'm aiming for 11, and I believe set number 2 was 10, so 11 and 10. So we'll see. Not quite. 11 will do.
Like shoulders or something? Legs.
Now that I've gotten the 2 heavy sets out of the way, it's time for a lighter back off set. Now, nowhere in the literature does it say there's any advantage to doing back off sets, and I'll never claim such a statement. The reason I do these is due to the simple fact that they feel good. It feels nice on the joints, I get a good pump, and I can still get close to, if not to failure, within what I would consider to be a reasonable rep range of 8 to 12. Like nothing excessively high that your, say, cardiovascular endurance is going to be the rate limiter on. That's the thing, like when it comes to choosing a rep range, that you can build muscle anywhere from, say, 4 to 30 reps. But if the pump is the rate limiter, or your cardiovascular endurance or lack thereof is a rate limiter on the set when you go, say, north of 15 reps, well, if your goal isn't to improve your muscular endurance or your cardiovascular fitness, then it might be worthwhile going lower in the rep ranges. But on the flip side, if you can get within 1 RIR, true 1 RIR, north of 15 reps, and you enjoy it, and your cardiovascular endurance isn't the rate limiting factor, then fuck, go for it. Like, there's no reason to overcomplicate this shit. It's pretty fucking simple at the end of the day. You've just got to find, as trite as it sounds, find what works for you and just stick with it. Consistency is going to get the majority of your results in any scenario. So just make sure that you're fucking consistent with what you're doing. Progressively overloading, keeping your reps, your execution standardized. And so the only variable that is changing over time is the load on the machine or bar, or the number of reps that you do with that load. All right, let's get this last set out of the way. Last week, I believe I did 80, so 5 kilo less for 12. So if I can land within 2 reps of that, say 10-ish reps, I'd consider that a solid back off set. I don't know if I'd say it's a progression, but definitely matching last week's performance, despite the disparity in load. One rep less, but 5 kilo up. I'd consider that a PR. I think so. Only marginally though. One more shoulder exercise after this, and then one tricep exercise. So I have modified my training a little bit since I don't even think you can call it a deload, to be honest. Since the easier week of training that I had recently, I've adjusted the split a little bit because it's been a while since I did. And mostly it's just been a volume adjustment, so just a reduction in volume, because when you're dieting, it shouldn't be any surprise, it should be a bit of a no-brainer. But your recovery ability is lower than when you're not dieting. So it makes more sense to do less in the gym as you get deeper into a deficit and as you get closer to naught body fat. At the start of a deficit, you won't have to adjust volume. You'll be able to just do the volume that you were doing when you were growing. But as soon as you do that transition to a deficit, you are going to at some point hit a wall which you'll have to decrease the volume to account for the inadequate recovery ability. And that's what I've had to do. So only one tricep exercise now, which will be push downs, heavy push downs. If I hadn't done shoulder press, I'd probably do 3, but yeah, only 2 today.
Oof.